Haas has added a touch of humor to F1. They're not great, but they do make us laugh at times. Whether it's Gunther Steiner's weird photo shoots or the fact that their sponsorships are a huge mess that leave them worse off. Now, one of the team's old sponsors is out there messing things up for another motorsport team, so make sure to stay till the end of the video to learn all about it. Now, Steiner is not surprised by the Rich Energy BSB team saga. The Haas F1 team is relatively new. They joined in 2016, so it does make sense that they're not the best right now. They're also the only American team on the track. Many have argued, though, that they're not a true American team, especially Michael Andretti, but we'll get to him later. Ever since joining motorsport, they've struggled to just survive, and because of a lack of prestige, they've also failed to attract proper drivers. Most of their drivers so far have been rookies. People like Michael Andretti have argued that Haas is not an American team. That's because they're just owned by an American, but their headquarters is in England. Their boss is Italian. They don't have any American drivers, and most importantly, when Uralkali was their sponsor, their livery mimicked the Russian flag. The reason why we mention their lack of Americanness is because the team has failed to secure sponsors from the country. The team didn't even add more viewers from the region, despite F1 bosses trying tirelessly. Yes, more Americans than ever are watching F1, but that's not because of Haas. The lack of support and money has meant that the new team has had to get creative when it comes to sponsorships. One such sponsorship was with an energy drink company, Rich Energy. That saga ended horribly for Haas, but we'll get to that in a few seconds. After completely screwing things up for Haas in 2019, Rich Energy returned to racing in 2020. That's when those folks became the title sponsor of the OMG racing team and British Superbikes. This deal was specified as a multi-million-pound deal, but then all of a sudden, Rich Energy announced on Twitter that they have ended the agreement because the OMG squad acted in bad faith. What the company did to the bike team was suspiciously similar to what they did to the good old folks of Haas. When Steiner was asked at Paul Ricard last week if he had been following their latest saga, he responded, "I read it because I saw it." It's like, here we go again. That was my only comment. Here we go again. So it looks like Steiner is not at all surprised that the company is out there scamming other teams as well. But what even is Rich Energy? So Rich Energy is a company that's a little shady. Okay, not a little. It's really shady. The company operates out of Richmond in London. To this day, the company's origins and products are shrouded in mystery. Yes, in 2019, Haas's motorhome was stocked with their drinks, but no one has actually ever seen the black and gold can sell in any grocery stores whatsoever. And if you think that sounds a little off, wait till you hear about their financials. The company has links with the Premier League club West Ham. One of its owners, David Sullivan, bought shares in the companies back in 2018. However, the extent of his involvement is still unknown. Not shady enough? Okay, get this, folks. In 2016, the company's bank balance was $134. Yes, that's it. Then in 2017, it was $770. Granted, that's a 475% growth, but these numbers are hardly the stuff of a prospective F1 title sponsor. When their eccentric CEO, William Storey, was asked about the legitimacy of the company, he stated that claiming his company wasn't real was like claiming Elvis is still alive. Even Haas insisted they had no doubts about the company. The fact that they had to reassure us with words that the company is legit was already a red flag. If no one's ever seen their products sold in stores, where did they even get all the money? Many people even threw around claims that the business was just a front for something more heinous, but there have been no investigations proving that. And what did they do to Haas? Rich Energy became their title sponsor in 2019. Their cars even ditched their livery for black and gold. And then, all of a sudden, midway through the season, the contract was terminated. Their CEO claimed it was because of the team's poor results, but that wasn't close to the crazy part. The company's official Twitter account tweeted that they've terminated its Haas deal immediately based on their poor on-track performances. But here's where it gets a little weird. The two parties hadn't talked about this at all, and later, it was claimed that the tweet didn't represent the company. It was made by a rogue individual. Who was that rogue individual? Their CEO. See, folks, Rich Energy was going through an internal power struggle, and Haas just got crushed in the middle of it. They officially terminated their sponsor with the team, and Haas raced the rest of their season without a title sponsor. But then they linked up with a Russian company called Uralkali, which also didn't end well. So here we go again. After the suspicious energy drink company returned to racing, a similar story played out. Rich Energy announced on Twitter that it had ended its agreement with the team. As we mentioned earlier, Storey used similar words of acting in bad faith. So they first left Haas high and dry, and now they're doing this to another team. One conspiracy theory suggests that these folks don't really have the money to sponsor anyone. They seek out desperate teams, show them that the grass is greener on the other side, then use them for publicity. After all press is good press, right? Motorsport has millions, if not a billion fans around the world. Most of them know of the company by now, without them having to spend a lot of money. So if their product actually ends up hitting the shelves, people might be curious to try it out. OMG responded by stating that they were never sponsored by the company itself, but rather by the Rich OMG Limited, the global rights holder for the sales of the drink. The team has assured us that the sponsor has paid all their dues. Although the company may have gained some press, it seems like no one's really going to them for sponsorship ever again. So they've screwed up their chances of becoming a globally cherished brand like Red Bull. After enduring humiliation at the hands of Rich Energy, it's no surprise that Haas's boss is not not fazed by their latest saga. Now, that's out of the way, let's take a couple of minutes to discuss some other things happening in the world of F1. Alright, so, Andretti's F1 dream might be dying. Michael Andretti has been trying to get into F1 for a few years now. First, he tried to buy out one of the current teams. That didn't work out, so he pushed for an 11th team. His argument is that F1 lacks a proper American team, and that his entering the sport will bring in a lot of American sponsors. But not so fast. Only 2 of the 10 F1 bosses are siding with him. Most of them would rather split the pie 10 ways than 11. Andretti claims that the pie is going to get so much bigger than 1/11th will be bigger than the previous slice. But the current bosses aren't buying any of it. On top of that, the folks managing F1 teams have said that they're already in talks with American sponsors, so there's nothing the 59-year-old could bring to the table. And as if all that wasn't enough, the current IndyCar team owner's team is struggling to get along. So folks over at F1 have claimed that there's already so much drama in their sport that we just don't need more teams that are falling apart already. There will be a new team in F1 in the next few years, but it won't be Andretti Global, or so it seems. Okay, time for some exciting news. Russell grabs the pole. Ferrari was all set for a 1-2 position on the grid, but George Russell came in the last moment and snatched pole position away from them. Now Ferrari is going to be starting at position 2 and 3 in a career first. The Mercedes youngster was 0.044 seconds faster than Sainz around the lap. Let's hope he can keep that pace during the race and win his first ever Grand Prix. Lastly, a terrible weekend for Red Bull. Red Bull, the current contenders for the World and Drivers' Championship, didn't do as well as they expected. Both of their cars will be starting in the middle. Max Verstappen will be starting 10th and Sergio Perez will be starting 11th. This happened because Perez dropped out in Q2. After all, the traffic had hampered his effort, and because Verstappen encountered a loss of power in Q3. But this is Red Bull, folks. Let's not underestimate them. Both drivers will have no problem finding their way to the top 5. They might even end up winning the Grand Prix, given their current form and performance. Well, that's all we have for you guys today. Do you folks think Rich Energy will be making a comeback in motorsport anytime soon? Let us know all your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. See you guys next time. Bye!